My first video got cut off in a way that I didn't know it was cut off, and I'm talking into space. So that wasn't nice. I don't even know if this video's running, if this is really alive. Let me wait and see if it's actually working. I don't know. I don't think it is. No, it is, I think. Although I can't say for sure. Let me see. I don't want to start till I know it's working, and that I do not know. I don't think I got it. So I guess they may have disconnected me. I don't know. Could be over with. There's nothing going on here. Let me reboot this thing. I'm trying to see if I could detect the problem. All right, I think we got it. I think we're back on. I'm trying to see. All right. All right. I tried doing a broadcast before. They cut it off in such a way that I couldn't tell they cut it off. Let me just get to the bottom line here. The Houthis made a statement yesterday, and they said that if Israel, they're giving Israel 4 days to stopping the flow of humanitarian aid into Gaza. So that means they don't want Gaza getting the Israel stopping the fuel, the food, and the medical. And not the motorhomes, the mobile homes aren't coming in, and things of this nature. Okay, so Israel is stopping all of that, and they said they're giving Israel 4 days, so it's 3 days from today, or else they're going to reactivate their navy, and they're going to be attacking shipping and stuff like that. But to get the full impact, I've got to read you exactly what they said, and I have that, and I'll read it to you because this is going to open up the door, and this is what hit me like a ton of bricks. Let me get it open. And I don't know if they're cutting us off or not. I'm going to have to keep checking because they do it in a very crafty way. The Houthis said words just about exactly like this, or it is exact. Um, if they do not allow the humanitarian aid into Gaza, we will meet siege with a siege. That's what the Houthis said. See, Israel basically put a siege, you could call it a blockade in a way, on Gaza. Nothing's getting in. No construction equipment, no food, nothing like that. They may cut the electricity. I doubt they'll cut the water. So the Houthis said they're going to meet a siege with a siege. Now, since I don't know we have a broadcast, I've got to keep checking to see if we do have a broadcast. See, Israel basically put a siege, you could call it a blockade. We do have it still. All right, so what's going on is they're going to do a siege. Now, Israel's already sieged in Lebanon. We can't bring goods through Lebanon. We can't. And when this thing with Gaza blows up, um, which it already is, the Lebanese army is likely going to join Hezbollah, move into the south, and that'll be the siege there. But there already is a siege from Lebanon. There already is a siege from Syria. We can't bring anything in from Syria. Iraq's not on our border. We can't bring anything in. Saudi doesn't touch our border. We can't bring anything in through Saudi. We can't bring anything in. Well, we could bring things in from Jordan now, but that'll stop. And when you go out of Gaza, you go into Egypt, and Egypt will definitely cut us off. They got 100,000 military in the area of the Sinai Peninsula in Gaza right now. And the Houthis intend to conduct siege using ships to attack ships that are bringing anything to or from Israel. Now, the way it'll progress, in my opinion, to be effective is there's a few places that need to be in this destruction of Zechariah 12. Jordan and Egypt are the two likely candidates to be forced by Trump to take the 2 million Gazans. Trump wants his resort, and Trump is going to do this, and they're not happy about it at all. It's serious. They would wage war against us if this happened. I got to keep checking to make sure we got a live stream because they're very deceitful. You can ask a question, I'll try to get to it. So, Jordan and Egypt will be in the siege along with Lebanon, Gaza, for whatever that's worth, right? Houthis will be sieging. Now, Iraq will join. What's going to happen to make the siege effective is we don't bring much goods in by truck. We occasionally would bring stuff from Gaza when we were friendly with them, or maybe we bring stuff from Jordan and possibly Lebanon. But those days, I think, are pretty well finished. And they're going to threaten to shoot down any civilian aircraft that come to Israel, tourist, passenger, cargo. Okay? Civilian aircraft are easy to shoot down. You could shoot them down with Vietnam era missiles. It's the child's play. The Lebanon has those. Gaza doesn't have those, but Egypt does. And they could cover, Saudi Arabia could cover that part of the world, and they get in the fight. And Jordan will get in the fight, and probably Iraq. Now they got to cut off the sea routes, or we'll just keep bringing ships in. Well, the Houthis are going to put a dent in that, but I think what you're going to see is Egypt and Turkey, because Turkey's going to get it. They're going to be in the fight, and maybe Iran. But Egypt and Turkey alone could do this. Bring, a dozen or so warships, and Lebanon has a navy of some sort. They could bring some warships too. So I would say we got Turkey, Egypt, and Lebanon with some warships floating around off our shores near our ports, telling the uh, naval ship that this is a no-go area. You can't be here. You can't go to Israel. Now, America and Israel could attack those ships, but I don't know if this attack would. I don't know. I mean, we could, and America could. We have submarines. I think we have six that could sink the ships. It may come to that. I don't know. And they put the siege up over there, and they'll threaten from the boats to shoot the planes down with missiles if they try to land. When you approach Ben Gurion, you come over the Mediterranean. So that's our airport. So you've got to block the Mediterranean from air traffic, and that's your siege. And that's when the two witnesses destroy him. And that's what I believe I was shown this morning when I read the thing. Or was it yesterday? It might have been yesterday. In the evening, when the Houthis said, "We're gonna, you got a siege. We're gonna give you a siege," relating to Gaza. So will Netanyahu stop the siege? Oh, I doubt it. I seriously doubt Netanyahu will stop the siege. The Mediterranean. I don't think he's going to do anything of the sort. Why do you care if I'm wearing sunglasses? Idiot. Okay, so that's what I was trying to get to in the first video, and I lost a lot of the first video. So I was talking into space because somebody's being very deceitful about doing this, but I'll overcome it with prayer. So pray they don't keep knocking the videos off midstream. So that's the siege. That's where I believe it's coming, and it's real close. Okay. Trump's making peace with Russia, selling Ukraine down the road, trading with Russia with joint ownership of $7 trillion of minerals and metals. That's going to mean no more sanctions. It's also going to mean that the trading is going to be in dollars, US dollars, not BRICS money. Trump's not an idiot. So that's the end of BRICS. Trump got to take care of Iran to stop the oil in BRICS. So he puts Iran on warning. He's sending them letters. They won't meet with him. And somebody's going to attack the nuclear facilities and probably the radar and maybe some other missile sites as well. It'll be either Israel or America or both, or maybe the UK in there. I don't know yet. That's coming in days. And that's going to light the Houthis up even more, and they're going to get clobbered. I believe Israel will probably do it, but it may have help. I'm not sure. But the Houthis will go. But the siege could happen very likely and easily without the Houthis at all. The Houthis are not needed for the siege. They're quite far away, and there's American warships in the area. If they try to attack those, the American warships are going to get into action. So the Houthis don't have any real warships where they could come up to the Mediterranean. The Yemen army might have something, I don't know. Iran may also join in the siege too. Their warships are kind of hybrid, zip guns, but they might get into it too. But Egypt and Turkey have enough of a real. Turkey has 100 warships in their navy. Egypt's got quite a few. They could do it themselves, and they would back. If we attack the warships, they would say they're going to attack us, and Turkey will likely position itself in Syria down by our buffer zone. They'll descend more into Syria to just be perhaps an hour, 2 or 3 hours away from Israel. Probably try to stay within an hour or 90 minutes away from Israel and move troops down. They already have some of their troops in northern Lebanon, and they'll descend down using some cover story or something. So the threat will be if we attack their warships to stop the blockade or the siege, they will roll in, and that's when you're going to see the two witnesses take them out. Now I don't know how long the siege will last for before they get taken out. I have no idea. I mean, it could be 1 or 2 days. It could be 3 or 4 hours. It could be 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know. I think 2 or 3 weeks would probably be on the outside, but I don't know. Pray we get more information about that, how long it'll last, and will Elijah start working in Jerusalem before the siege? How long will the siege take to come into its fullness? What our timing looks like. We're never told we won't know the day or the hour of the siege, right? We're never told we'll never know the day or the hour when Elijah's working. Okay? The thing with Gaza doesn't look like it's going anywhere. Let me make sure we still got a live stream. So that's our about that. How long it'll last. Um, because I prefer doing live streams because I can answer questions. That's why I do live streams, plus other reasons that I don't want to get into. So what else we got is Trump is keeping Russia from selling the oil to BRICS, which is going to pop the BRICS bubble. It's not going to be that valuable. And Iran's not going to deal with Trump, so there'll be an attack on Iran in a few days. Trump said something to that effect. Iran's going to get something bad in a few days. Okay. So America and or Israel is going to hit Iran first, and then it's going to, right after that, I believe we're going to start seeing the move to get rid of America. Iran, North Korea, and China would like to get rid of America, and the fact that Russia is making peace with Trump does not mean that Russia is not setting Trump up for a fall. Okay? Trump thinks he has Putin in his pocket, and Putin probably has Trump in his pocket. Trump's in his snare. And remember there, we did a video about Trump being assassinated in Bible prophecy, so we might be dealing with Vance in the next few days or weeks, and Vance may not have the same respect for Israel that Trump is. Adelson didn't give Vance $100 million, gave it to Trump. So Vance may get rid of Marco Rubio, and he may start dictating harsher terms to Israel, and that causes America to do evil in our sight. Now that would probably happen before the destruction of the daughter of Babylon. So there still is time for Elijah to get in here and work, and for the temple to come as per Malachi 3 and 4. And then comes your Zechariah 12. So that's the condensed version of what I was trying to do in the other video where I was talking into space for a long time. You see, when I see movement on the transmitting iPad, I think I'm live, but they cut me off, and that's not the first time they did that. And I don't think it was an accident. If my provider cut me off, I wouldn't be able to move my hand and see it move on the screen. There would be, well, maybe I could, you're right, I could. I would still be able to do that, but it wouldn't be transmitting. Man, yeah, I could be doing that. I don't know what it is yet, but we'll deal with it. And it might be, hang on a second. So, moving along, I think this is the trigger anyway for the siege. The Muslim terrorist states around us are interpreting what we did to Gaza as a siege, and they're getting ready to put a siege on us. And I don't think the Houthis are the only ones. And remember, Egypt recently moved their warships and submarines around. So I think they have this planned. And Turkey's been, saying he's going to get Israel for a long time. Okay. And Jordan came right out a few weeks ago and said, the hostages, the Gazan civilians coming to Jordan will declare war on Israel. And Egypt broke the Camp David Accords and built bases in the Sinai Peninsula, put 100,000 soldiers in there in south of Gaza. So Trump's not speaking to that. And it appears that America, will fight Egypt. We covered that the other day too and wipe them out. It appears it's this Nebuchadnezzar that does it. So maybe Trump gets killed in the attack on America when he gets assassinated, in which case they would, on an emergency basis, put Vance in charge. That's a possibility, by the way. But it didn't, the ring of that is not correct. So I think, no, that's not going to happen. He's going to get assassinated, not killed in the battle. So Egypt may tick Trump off sufficiently by doing the siege, and they're already ticking him off by telling him he can't have Gaza. So he may actually get into a fight with them. So anyway, every day the news is massive. Things keep happening, and it's very hard to keep up with it, but I'm trying hard. And so the siege is there, right? Now we know how the siege from the enemy is going to start, and how we watch that develop. And then whether or not Elijah starts working before or after Zechariah 12:6 is probably he will, but when? See, when the temple comes down, the temple needs to be on the holy Mount Sinai. So there's two theories that would work for that. One is God builds it up from the earth miraculously, which would take him, seconds or less, whatever. And then the temple alights on that, or the mountain comes down with the temple, which is it's a rather likely scenario because it would be holy ground, and he calls it the holy Mount Sinai. Not Mount Sinai, Mount Zion. I'm confusing Mount Sinai with the Ten Commandments. Sorry, no, it's Mount Zion. Mount Zion. So that's where the temple is in Jerusalem. And the temple was dismantled by an army many, many centuries ago. The Wailing Wall, is where the Roman fort was. Roman Fort Antonius next to it. So it's several hundred feet away from there. And there's nothing there except some old dumpy houses. And I don't know how exactly it'll happen, but it will happen. If it's called the Holy Mountain, it's more likely coming down from heaven with the temple. But the temple is not going to be on the ground and then the mountain comes some months or weeks or years later. It'll be elevated, as I understand it. You can read Ezekiel 40 to 48 and learn a lot more about the temple, specifically in verses 43 to 45. You'll get a lot of information. You see, it says, the glory of God of Israel shall come in the temple suddenly, and that's in Malachi 3, and then in Ezekiel 43, you see him actually coming into the temple. So that's what we need to ask the Lord for. And, these prayers are working. You have not because you ask not, but we're asking and we're getting answers, a lot of them. So we got to keep pushing for more and more answers. Okay, let me check and see if we're still on the air. And will Elijah start working Jerusalem? See him actually coming into the temple. Yeah, it appears that we're still on the air. Um, Appreciate it if you don't electioneer in the chat. Uh, so that was basically the message. I'll see what I could get in my notes that I might have not talked about because they cut me off. I talked about dividing Europe, that Trump's doing it. He's dividing NATO, and he's throwing Ukraine under the bus, basically. The way it's going now with Gaza is, I think it's common knowledge in the government of Israel, and probably to at least 1 million people in Israel, that Hamas is never giving all the hostages back. It's just something that they are never going to do. And now I don't know what happened to my live chat. Oh, there it is, I think. So that's what we need to ask the Lord for. And, you know, these prayers are working. You have not because you ask not, but we're at what we need to ask the Lord for. And, you know, these prayers are working. You have not because you ask not, but we're at. So then, yeah, I was saying, give us 10 hostages live, and we'll give you 30 or 60-day ceasefire, whatever it was. They're not going for that. Hamas wants it all over. They want us completely out of Israel so they could rebuild their war machine, and that's the long and the short and the tall. So the plan seems to be to force the Gazans from North Gaza, where the Hamas is, down to South Gaza, and tell them if they stay in North Gaza, it could cost them their lives, and then carpet bomb North Gaza and eliminate Hamas that way. They'll just die there. And 95% of them will be dead in the rubble, maybe 99%. And then Trump will force the Gazans into Egypt and Jordan, and that will cause a big conflict with Jordan and Egypt. And I think that will be the siege. And Trump will attack Egypt, and we will attack Jordan. And that's the progression that I see here. And I've covered this in very recent videos. Lebanon will also be in it, and they'll have a siege on us, but we don't know how effective the siege is going to be. It may not be an effective siege. Maybe it does not include Navy vessels, but it probably will. Egypt's got themselves, in trouble with the Lord for putting the soldiers by the border. Turkey has to do something. Turkey can do it in Syria without using the ships, or they can use the ships. The ships is what I'm thinking they need to do to make the thing effective, but they may not make it that effective. It may be just the land siege. We don't know. We don't know. If it's not a siege on aircraft and naval vessels, it's not that effective. But that might be all they can muster up. I don't know. If they put their warships out there, what do they do if Israel starts hitting their warships with torpedoes and stealth aircraft? See, they might be afraid to do that. So I don't have all the pictures. Pray we get more insights. Pray we get a greater sense of timing on Elijah starting to work and Apostle John. and when the temple comes down, and Mount Zion, and when more sequencing and timing on the destruction of these nations surrounding us, and more timing about Jeremiah 30 verse 11, which is also Jeremiah 46:28, verse 28. More information about that, sequencing and timing. And pray these things avidly. They're getting answered. You have not because you ask not, but we're asking and now we have. How about that? All right. So keep praying, keep reading the scriptures every day. Listen, even if you just read a chapter a day or even a half a chapter, it's so much better than nothing. And pray every day and make sure you read some Bible every day, even if it's a chapter. You sit down in the morning, you have your coffee, your tea, or whatever you do, your cereal, read a chapter before you go to work, or just try for something. Or if you're going to work, get earbuds, listen to a Bible on there, or you could listen to my lecture, I guess, whatever. But you should read the scriptures. Not, I'm not the scriptures. I do read them, but I don't read that many. I'm not, you should, hearing cometh by hearing the word. So you want to hear the word. Play the Bible in your car. You can get recording Bibles, are pretty cheap and easy. And with the internet, I think you could play Bible for free online. I'm pretty sure it'll read it to you. And that's, that'll be very, very helpful for you. And pray in the Spirit. That's extremely good thing to do. These are times for a lot of prayers. The more praying in spirit and prayers you do now, I think the less difficulties you'll have down the road, as a guess. Okay? Wars are bound to break out. Jeremiah 30:11, gotta happen. Europe looks primed right now for the start. And when that starts, China and North Korea will probably open up in Asia. And between the Houthis in Egypt and Turkey and Iran and the Middle East will light up in there. The only thing missing is South and Central America and the Caribbean, and I don't know what happens to them. See, when it says where he drove us, where he scattered us into the nations, maybe it isn't all the nations that the Jews have been into, which is about 125. I read years ago that some Jew from the Christmas Islands, I believe it was, made Aliyah to Israel. The Christmas Islands, they got a population of a few hundred people. I mean, does that mean he scattered them into the Christmas Islands, or is it perhaps more like some guy just decided he wanted to live in the Christmas Islands because he wanted to open up a store, or he liked the beach or something? I don't know. See, it's difficult to figure out that. I think the big countries where they were in for a long period of time, like Russia with the czars, and even afterwards, right? Germany, they were in England, they were in Portugal, they were in Spain, a lot of countries, and then they got expelled. So maybe it just means the countries that he put them in at large, many of them, and they got expelled. But definitely put them in America with 6.5 million known Jews plus lost tribes, So there, I don't know. Just because there's Jews there, it doesn't mean he expelled them there. Maybe they just went there, or expelled, or put them in captivity, or scattered them there, or drove them there. So scattered them there is specific, and drove them there is he got them to go there. And then if a small amounts of them went elsewhere, I don't know. So it may not be that many countries. It may, not be all that many. It may not be, So that can mean that I I know he scattered them into Mexico. I can't say that. I know there was, around the very late 1800s, very early 1900s, the Jews were leaving Russia and Poland, and they were going to America, and there were quotas, and some of them couldn't get in to America, and they just deviated and went right to Mexico, and Mexico let them in. And they lived in Mexico and had families, and their families had families. And there's um, a good amount of them in Mexico. But were they scattered there, or did they just go there? It seems they were headed to be scattered or driven to America, and then they couldn't get in as a second thought. They went to Mexico. They didn't generally start out going to Mexico. Okay. And what about Canada? There's a lot in Canada. Were they driven there, or did they just roll in there because they couldn't get into America? See what I'm saying? We don't have a lot of good information about this. So it may not be every country. But there sure is a lot of Europe that went to. Did they get driven to Italy? Yeah, from 70 AD, Rome took 200,000 of them back. Yeah. So they did go to Italy. Okay. Did they go to France? I don't remember. I don't know. Maybe I can't recall that. What about Belgium? I don't know. What about Norway, Denmark, Sweden? I don't know. I don't know. See, there's things I don't we don't have easy access to that. So it may not be 100 or 125 nations. Maybe it's 15 or something like that. Well, I mean, let me look at a map of Europe, and I could shoot off likely suspects. But again, it's just me taking a shot at it. But I think I could take a good shot at it. I mean, don't take it as the gospel, but I'm trying to get a map. I use the EU, and I got to get a map of Europe. It's not working. And the Google Maps, 75, 80% of them are just junk. They're not legible. They're dimmed out. They're washed out. They're pretty bad. All right. Let's see if I could read this one. Nope. I think it's a foreign language. So let me try this one. Barely. Okay. So Portugal and Spain, they definitely got driven into. I would think, yes. Morocco and Algiers, I believe they were driven into, although that's in North Africa. The UK area, yes. Iceland, Greenland, I don't think so. That's my guess. Germany, they definitely were driven into. I'm not totally certain about, you know, France, but I think so. There's quite a few in France today. Italy, yes, the Romans took them there. Um, Austria, I believe so. Poland, I know, yes. They went to Russia, but Russia was part of Poland at times, and Ukraine was part of Russia at times. So I think that Poland, Ukraine, and Russia would come under the Russia thing. Um, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, I don't know about. I don't know. Maybe they were part of Russia at the time, and they come under the Russia umbrella, like with Belarus. Maybe I don't know. Finland, I don't think so. Nor Sweden or Norway. I'm not thinking that. Um, Czech Republic, I don't know. There's a lot of these things I just don't have clear answers to. So the lack of any current event stuff popping up in Central and South America and the Caribbean could mean that he never drove them there. They just wandered there on their own. They see that could be a big difference. And with Asia, it's really hard to get good information if they were ever driven, if the Israelites were ever driven into Asia, or did they just wind up going there themselves? South and Central America and the Caribbean, and I don't things I just don't have. So I don't know about that. But there's quite a few countries in Europe that I'm pretty certain they were driven into. Let me see if the Jews were ever exiled into France. Should take a quick Google search to get to it very quickly. If they got sent out of the country, they and there was a large amount of them, they probably were driven there. But I'm using words like probably because I don't know. It looks like they were in France. Let's make sure. In the year 1182, they were expelled from France by King Philip. Yeah, I would say France is in there. So these countries are the ones slated for destruction in Europe, and it looks like we're going to see a pretty substantial war in Europe, and China and North Korea and Iran may attempt to help Russia with this. And once Trump is out of the way, which he's basically out of the way today, they can move. And Trump will be happy to try to stay in peace mode with China and Russia. I don't think he's terribly concerned about Iran and North Korea, or Cuba, or Venezuela, or Belarus, or Armenia, or Azerbaijan, or any of that stuff. He may be getting set up by them. They would love to see him pull the troops out of Europe. Maybe they wouldn't. Maybe they want to see his troops spread out when I think about it more. And we just got to watch how this is going to play out. See, its end times is going to be a lot of twists and turns in this thing. It's not going to come out linear. It's going to be up and down and curves and twists like a roller coaster. It's going to go all over the place. It's not. I don't believe. I mean, it may not, but I don't believe it's going to be that linear. At the end of it, it will be. I think. But how many people in the world know this is going to happen? Unbelievably small amount. the leaders don't believe the Bible, they don't fear God, so they're going to do what's in their minds and hearts to do, which is a delusion. The demons don't know anything, they're just nuts. So there you have it. So if we keep praying for more insights, we'll get it. But I think we're getting closer and closer to the days of Elijah again. And you see, in my book, it's going to take time to train the Levites in Malachi 3. I don't think it's going to happen in a week. It could. You know, Syria fell in 11 days. I mean, it could happen in 2 or 3 days, but I just don't think that. That's me. It's going to take a little more time. And I think it's the temple and training the Levites that is going to drive the surrounding countries nuts. On top of everything else, they're going to go completely wacko. They're drinking the cup of the wrath of the Lord. Israel's not. Israel's getting chastened, but not getting wiped out. So this could be it. If we keep praying for sequencing help from the Lord and timing help on all these events pertaining to the temple, Mount Zion, Elijah's beginning to train the Levites, the time frame to the siege, how long the siege will last, things like that. Some, and likely most of them, we're going to get. We're not going to get anything that's going to definitively tell us the day of or the hour of his appearing in the clouds. That we're not going to get. But this other stuff, I believe, will tell us. I hope you got something out of that, and you could ask me questions. My email address is in the description under the video. It's israelgiving with the number 7 at gmail.com. My PayPal's in the description under the video along with Patreon. And please pray for, I don't think I had any prayer requests. Maybe I did. Hold on. Prayer requests are a very important thing we do. No, I don't see any prayer requests. No. Okay, so pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Pray for better videos. Keep praying we get these answers. Keep reading the Bible. Keep praying. And don't give up on that, and pray in the Spirit too. And pray for EB, Echo Bravo. This person needs help. A long illness has been going for a long time. So pray for EB, Echo Bravo, Bravo for healing, peace, joy. It's a rough illness going on. Okay. And pray for me to make better videos, and pray for our animals and pets to be happy, healthy, and whole. They're all rescues. Pray I do good on my new eating habits, which I'm doing pretty good with. I'm eating a lot of fruity stuff, dried and regular. I'm eating vegetables. I'm still eating eggs and meat, and no, I'm keeping the bread and the junk out as much as I can. I don't even have any real bread in the house. I don't intend on buying it. I got these soup mixes they sell in Israel, which are powdered, and I think I'm throwing all them out. Well, I don't use them in the warm weather anyway. In the winter, when you get chilled and you're cold, it's real nice to heat up one of these things and sip on it. But it's garbage food. That's going to go away, and I'm going to throw a lot of other stuff out. And I'm going to see if I can make oatmeal, the real oatmeal, not the instant oatmeal, or without getting my wife mad for hogging up the kitchen. And please pray that my digestive tract heals up and settles down. It was towards the end of the carnivore diet, it was really backed up. And I think it's still getting unbacked up, but mostly it's gone. So please pray I have a easy time with that. And I attribute it to the hernia, but I'm thinking maybe it wasn't the hernia. Maybe it was just eating meat and cheese for so long, like 5 or 6 weeks, whatever I did it for. I don't know. But I felt good doing it. I lost weight, and I did it. I did it. It's over. I'm not going back to it. I think I'll be a lot happier, healthy, and whole if I just stick with eating a regular diet without the junk foods and without the breads and the artificial sweetness, the sugars, and I think I'll be much happier with fruit, vegetables, and meats. And for grains, I have to figure something out. They say grape nut flakes are healthy. I haven't explored it enough, but that might be the case. But they're like eating little rocks or pebbles. It's so hard. I remember eating them. I might try that. I don't know. I may not need grains. I don't know if I even need grains. Now they're saying popcorn, if you just air pop it, I read that it's okay because if you don't put the foot, you don't buy the popcorn with all the junk on it. It's really not that bad. And we have a lot of canned food that I'm going to start eating, which are fruit and vegetables. And I'm going to start eating raw. I have a big list of raw vegetables I'm going to order next week and try to eat them raw. I'm going to try to do that. If I can't eat them raw, what I might do is just put them in the air fryer for a minute or two and lightly cook them. I have to futz around with them. Maybe I got to put in for 3 minutes, or I'll ask my wife to help me do it. But I'm going to try to eat some things raw, like bell pepper. That's easy. Um, uh, what's the other one? Carrots is easy. Cucumber is easy, but that's a vegetable. And that's probably enough right there, but I could think of others. I don't like broccoli raw. I tried it and I don't like it. I love it if you cook it, but not raw. And I'll eat raw celery. Yeah, that's probably going to get me there, you know. I'm concerned about grains. I have to think of something for that. But if I could get the wheat tortillas, the real thing where they don't put the garbage in, that might be nice. But I think I could live without that. And that's a little too close to bread, so I don't really know if I should go down that road. But if the grape nut flakes are really not dangerous to eat, I really have to dig deep into this. I can't believe it, but I've been reading it. It's the case. Then I could have a cereal and milk when I want a very light meal, and that might be nice to do, but I am not going to take a chance. So, thank you for all your prayers. Sometimes I think that me and my wife are right on your prayers. Keep praying for her. She has good days and bad days. And you might want to give this a thumbs up. It takes you 2 seconds. And you might want to subscribe if you want to start hearing about all this stuff. Now, as you know, the world doesn't understand anything I'm saying, okay? And they're not supposed to. That's the reality of that, okay? And the real days of Elijah come, and I'm out, and I send my Shabbat Shalom to all those who love Yeshua HaMashiach. I should have said the open days of Elijah. And I'm out. Thank you. Or what he did with John the Baptist, I think, is the unveiling. So the big unveiling of Elijah, that would be better put. And Apostle John will be around too. I'm out.